to give you three elements that we have used with endurance learning that we found to help mitigate some of the challenges. They don't eliminate the challenges because naturally people have a visceral reaction to the idea of role play. But here are some things that we've done that have helped to mitigate some of the challenges with role play. And one is, and this is the most common piece that anybody uses in a role play, but and the example I'm giving you here is taken from an IT a training that we did with an IT department several years ago, where they were looking to help improve the customer service abilities of IT staff within the organization's IT department. And so the first thing we did was for the learner, and oftentimes this is kind of where role plays start and stop, right? So what is the scenario that people have to actually act out? And the person who needs to practice the skills gets something, or maybe everybody kind of sees what the person who has to practice the skills sees. Now, in this situation, we had two cards and we didn't want people to see what card the other people got. So in this particular example, we split people up into groups of three. And one person had to be the learner, had to be the IT customer service person, right? So that's the skill that's being taught. And here, what we did was we gave the learner a prompt, but we didn't want them to share it with anybody else. Just like in real life, nobody knows what's happening with everybody else's kind of intent or motivation or what's going on in their mind. So here we had a help desk agent. You receive a call from someone at your organization who's well known across your IT department for calling the help desk at least once, usually more per week, asking for help on issues ranging from where to find certain software whose icons don't appear on their desktop screen to how to connect a Bluetooth speaker so they can listen to music while at work. When this call comes through, you quickly check the help desk ticket request and realize you haven't heard from this person for the past few weeks. That's all you know about the situation, right? So this gives you the context, and now you have to be ready for whatever that person's going to say. Now, in a typical role play, everybody kind of sees this, and then somebody's kind of responsible for kind of ad-libbing, doing some improv, figuring out, okay, what's a request I can have now? But what the second thing we do is we give the counterpart a card, a prompt, and that person doesn't share it with the learner, right? With the person who's supposed to handle this. Because again, if you're in the IT department, you don't know. You don't have like, you're not omniscient. You're not all knowing. You don't know what the other person is going to come to you with. So the counterpart has a secret prompt, and it goes something like this. So you call the help desk to let them know you can't access any websites. You let the help desk know that you've been traveling recently prior to your travel, and even during your travel, this wasn't a problem. But now that you're back in the office, you just can't access any websites. And that's all you have to do unless the learner, right, the IT rep, asks the questions they should be asking, and only then can you give more information. And that is the second part here. So only if the help desk asks, can you share a little bit more information. If they don't ask this situation won't resolve and it'll be frustrating, but that's where the debrief comes in, right? But if they do ask, then you can share that now that you think of it, someone in one of the regional offices from which you were working remotely during your travel made a few changes to your settings so that you could access their Wi-Fi connection while you're on site. Ah, there's something. But again, this is working on critical thinking skills and not just saying, okay, well, what's your problem? But starting to try to ask some questions and figure out what the problem is. Now, there's a third person here. Now, this is another part where sometimes the role play can get a little hokey, where people are just like, yeah, it was good. Or, I would have done that a little differently, right? So when people get the third person, the observer, when they are observing, they need some structure in order to be able to give valuable feedback. And so what we did for this particular situation was we gave an observation form that really structured and focused what people were observing for. In this particular instance, we were trying to teach 4 skills for the customer service, right? So the process was you have to listen to what the person's saying, repeat back to them what you heard, clarify with any questions that you might have, and then make sure that you document what comes up, right? So making sure that you can take notes on the situation. So we really wanted people to practice what they would be doing in real life. And this is what the observer should be giving feedback on. So those are the 3 elements that we have found that have changed the idea of role play. Now, people still are like, oh, role play. But when they get into it, Every single person involved in the small groups has a specific role and specific information that they should be following. They give a motivation, they have intent, which has really helped us when it comes to role play to make sure that it's not too loosey-goosey and it has some structure to it. So for us, that's been something that we've found very helpful.